My beloved friend, I want you to hear this clearly today. God has not forgotten you. I know you have been walking through a storm so fierce that it has made you question your own strength. I know the nights were long, the tears were many, and the weight of life seemed unbearable. But I am here to tell you that your breakthrough is closer than you think. Yes, even when you almost gave up, God was working quietly behind the scenes, preparing something greater than your mind can imagine. Sometimes when we are pushed to our limits, we feel like quitting. We look at our life and wonder, why me? But remember this, the seed must break through the dark soil before it can touch the sunlight. Your pain is the soil, your struggle is the water, and your faith, even if small, is the sunlight. The moment you hold on, even when all seems lost, is the moment God steps in to shift your destiny. You may feel weak, but let me tell you, strength is not the absence of weakness. Strength is holding on. When you feel broken, praying when you feel unheard, and walking forward when your path is unclear. Many have walked where you are now and emerged stronger, wiser, and victorious. Today, I want you to remember, your story is not over. The best chapter is yet to come. Listen closely, because this message is personal. It is for you who almost gave up. Open your heart, because God is speaking, and He says, do not give up. Your life is a testimony, your struggle is a message, and your faith is about to be rewarded. Sometimes life feels unbearably lonely, doesn't it? You wake up early in the morning tired before the day even begins. You go to work, you go to school, you go through your routine, and yet no one notices the weight you carry. You smile for the world, but inside you are struggling. The bills are piling up. Your health is wavering. Your heart feels heavy. And the pressure of life seems to push you down further. Every single day. Friends may say, you'll be fine. Family may say, stay strong. But no one truly sees the nights you spent crying quietly on your bed. No one notices the moments you whispered your fears into the darkness, hoping someone, anyone would hear. But here is the truth God sees. God sees every tear you wipe away, every sleepless night you endure, every silent prayer you offer while the world keeps moving. Even when everyone else looks past you, God is watching, working, and preparing to lift you higher. Think about the single mother who works 2 jobs just to put food on the table for her children. She wakes before dawn, rushes through a brayer, chaos that no one appreciates, walks miles on tired feet, and returns home to check homework, cook, and pray for her children's future. Everyone may admire her strength superficially, but no one sees the exhaustion etched in her eyes, the tears she hides, the sacrifices no one acknowledges. God sees. He sees her faith in the midst of chaos, and He is quietly weaving a miracle that will honor her perseverance. Consider the young student who studies late into the night, poring over books while friends are out enjoying life. He struggles with anxiety, doubts his abilities, and wonders if all this effort is worth it. Yet when he feels completely alone, God sees him. God sees the countless hours he sacrificed, the silent prayers whispered over exams, the tears shed in frustration and self-doubt. God sees the heart of a dreamer who refuses to give up. And one day, when doors open and opportunities arrive, the world will marvel, but God knew it all along. Or think of the person battling illness quietly, hiding pain behind a smile so others aren't burdened. Every step is heavy, every breath feels laborious, every meal takes effort. Friends ask, why don't you just take a break? And company, leagues say, you look fine, while no one really understands the battle raging inside. But God sees. God knows the silent prayers for healing, the resilience to keep fighting, and the courage it takes to live fully even when life is painfully hard. He is preparing the body, the mind, and the spirit for a victory that will inspire others. Even in small moments, like the cashier who serves custom. ERs, with a smile despite personal loss. Or the delivery driver who navigates rain and traffic to make ends meet. Or the teacher who spends extra hours preparing lessons while battling her own worries. God sees. He notices every act of dedication, every tear held back, every sacrifice made in silence. He honors the hearts that persevere when the world offers no applause. There are days when you feel unseen, when your efforts seem invisible, when the weight of life makes you question your worth. Perhaps you are caring for aging parents who never thank you, or supporting a friend who doesn't reciprocate, or working tirelessly for a dream that seems distant. You may feel like giving up, like no one cares, like your struggle is meaningless, but God sees. He sees the courage it takes to rise every morning despite fear. He sees the strength it takes to love when hurt runs deep. He sees the faith it takes to keep believing when the world doubts you. And He will reward it in ways that leave you speechless. Sometimes the test is not in what others notice, but in what God notices. The young artist who paints alone at night, the single father who sacrifices sleep for his children, the employee who keeps integrity despite shortcuts offered around him, the woman who prays over her family's future. God sees it all. And one day the blessings will come, the doors will open, the breakthrough will arrive, and in that moment you will realize that the quiet work, the unseen struggles, the prayers in the dark were never wasted. Your struggle is not ignored. Your perseverance is not unnoticed. Every tear you shed in silence, every fear you face alone, every sacrifice that seems invisible is deeply observed by the one who knows your heart. Even when the world forgets, even when people misunderstand, even when hope seems distant, God's eyes are upon you. He is aware of the weight you carry. He is moved by your faith. He is preparing your breakthrough, your victory, and your miracle. So, when the world seems blind to your pain, when your struggles feel invisible, when your efforts feel meaningless, remember this: God sees. Every tear, every prayer, every sleepless night, every moment of endurance is written in His memory. And He is orchestrating a plan to lift you from where you are, to bless you beyond what you can imagine, and to honor the strength and faith that no one else recognized. You are never unseen. You are never forgotten. Even when no one notices, God sees, and He is faithful to act on behalf of those who endure with hope, who believe when it's hard, and who keep moving forward even in darkness. Your struggle is sacred. Your persistence is powerful. And your life is a living testimony that God's eyes never turn away from those who refuse to give up. Sometimes life feels like you are running on a treadmill, exerting effort but not moving forward. You send out resumes, attend interviews, work long hours, pray, and yet doors keep closing. You study tirelessly, practice endlessly, pour your heart into your craft, and still the recognition seems out of reach. It is in these moments of exhaustion, these moments of despair, that you must remember your breakthrough may be just one step away. Yes, one small step, one last effort, one more prayer, one extra ounce of faith, and everything could change. Think about the entrepreneur who has faced repeated failures. Every business venture collapsed. Every deal fell through. Every investor said no. He wonders if he should give up, but he decides to try one last idea, refine one last plan, and knock on last door. That single persistent step opens the door to success, and suddenly all the struggles, all the sleepless nights, all the risk and fear are worth it. That moment teaches him that breakthroughs are often closer than you think. You just need the courage to take one more step when the world tells you to stop. Consider the student preparing for exams. She has been struggling with low G, raids, doubts herself constantly, and feels that no matter how hard she studies, she will fail. On the night before the final, she studies one more chapter, prays one more prayer, and reviews one last concept. That final effort, that extra step, transforms her results. She passes with excellence, and the reward is far greater than she imagined. Sometimes the breakthrough is not a giant leap, but a last inch of effort that separates failure from success. Even in relationships, the principle holds true. A husband and wife on the verge of separation may feel hopeless, believing that all communication is lost. But one step toward understanding, one conversation with honesty, one act of kindness, one prayer for patience, can transform their relationship entirely. The breakthrough comes in the seemingly small, almost invisible step that restores connection and heals what seemed broken. Or think about the athlete who has trained for years, pushing through pain, fatigue, and failure. She has lost competitions, been overlooked by coaches, and questioned her own ability. But in the next practice, in that next game, she pushes just a little harder, refuses to quit, and suddenly achieves victory. That one additional step, that extra ounce of effort, is what separates champions from those who give up just before success. The miracle of her breakthrough was always closer than it seemed. Even in careers, this is true. A writer faces repeated rejections from publishers, feels discouraged, and wonders if the dream of being published will ever come true. But on one final submission, one more revision, with one more moment of faith, a publisher says yes. That book changes his life, and the world now reads his words. If he had stopped a moment earlier, if he had given up one step before, the breakthrough would have been missed entirely. Sometimes the breakthrough is spiritual. A person praying for years without answers, a person fasting in hope, a person seeking guidance but feeling ignored may feel that God is silent. But that one prayer, offered with renewed faith, that one act of surrender, that one step of obedience, may unlock blessings that have been waiting unseen. The miracle has been near all along. They just had to take one more step toward God's timing and will. Even in small daily life challenges, breakthroughs hide in the next step. The single parent Ho has struggled for years to provide may find financial relief by finally applying for that job, that scholarship, or that assistance program. The artist struggling to sell paintings may receive their first big commission after deciding to submit to one more gallery. The student trying to learn a skill may finally master it after one extra hour of practice. The breakthrough was always waiting, The step to reach it had to be taken. Sometimes it is emotional courage that brings the breakthrough. The person holding grudges, nursing resentment, or waiting for an apology may feel stuck in pain. But one step toward forgiveness, one act of letting go, one prayer for peace, opens the heart to joy, freedom, and restored relationships. That single step is often all that stands between suffering, and breakthrough. Breakthroughs are rarely loud. They rarely announce themselves in advance. They are often hidden behind the last effort, the final act of faith, the one decision to move forward instead of giving up. Life may have pushed you to your limits, tested your patience, drained your strength, but the one step you take today could change the trajectory of your entire life. The door you have been knocking on for months, the opportunity you have been praying for years, the answer that has eluded you, may open the moment you refuse to stop. Even in the darkest nights when you feel like giving up, when all hope seems lost, when doors are slammed in your face. Remember, your breakthrough may be one step away. One more effort, one more prayer, one more smile in the midst of struggle, one more act of courage, and suddenly everything shifts. Every struggle you endured, every tear you cried, every ounce of faith you held on to prepares you for this moment. The miracle you have been waiting for is often nearer than your eyes can see. The people who succeed, the people who overcome, the people who achieve are rarely those who never struggle. They are those who, despite exhaust, despite disappointment, despite fear, take the next step when giving up feels easiest. They understand that the last step before quitting is often the one that leads to victory. That step is yours to take. Many people live their lives believing that weakness is the same as failure, that a moment of struggle defines their destiny, or that a tear or a breakdown means they are not strong enough. But I tell you today, weakness is not failure. Weakness is a part of being human, a part of learning, a part of growing. Weakness is a signal, not a sentence. It is the moment your spirit whispers, I need help. The moment your body says, slow down. The moment your heart says, I am tired. And God sees it all. God honors weakness because it is the doorway to strength, and He transforms weakness into testimony. Think about the single mother who struggles to put food on the table, who works long hours, who sacrifices sleep so her children can have a better life. She may feel weak, exhausted and overwhelmed, thinking she is failing as a parent because she cannot do everything perfectly. But weakness is not failure. Her exhaustion is proof of her dedication. Her sacrifice is evidence of her love, and her persistence in the midst of fatigue is a quiet triumph. The children she raises with love and care will one day honor her strength, and she will realize that weakness was never her downfall. It was the beginning of her testimony. Consider the student who fails an exam, feels embarrassed in front of classmates, and doubts their intelligence. That moment of weakness, that moment of defeat, does not make them a failure. Instead, it is a lesson in humility, perseverance, and resilience. They learn to study harder, to ask questions, to seek guidance, and to overcome obstacles with patience and dedication. Weakness becomes the catalyst for growth, and what seemed like failure is simply preparation for greater achievements. Think of the person battling illness or chronic pain. So, Meon, who cannot work at full capacity, who struggles to maintain routines, and who feels like a burden. In these moments, weakness can feel overwhelming. But weakness is not failure. It is a reminder to lean on God, to rely on support, to slow down and value each small victory. Every step taken despite pain, every task accomplished despite fatigue, every prayer whispered in quiet desperation is proof that weakness does not define a life, it strengthens it. Even in relationships, weakness appears as vulnerability. A man or woman who expresses emotions, admits mistakes, or asks for help may feel weak. Society may tell them that showing vulnerability is failure, but I tell you today, it is strength in its purest form. To open your heart, to forgive when hurt, to apologize when wrong is core. Age wrapped in weakness. These acts of vulnerability build deeper connections, heal broken bonds, and teach everyone that weakness is the pathway to wisdom and love. Consider the professional who is overwhelmed at work, facing tight deadlines, struggling to manage tasks, and fearing they are not competent enough. They may feel weak, inadequate, or behind, but weakness is not failure. Every moment they pause to breathe, every time they seek guidance, every small action to improve is a triumph. Weakness is the teacher that makes them more empathetic, careful, and resilient. It is the stage before mastery, the classroom before excellence. Even in daily life, weakness shows up in small ways. The person who admits, I cannot do this alone. The teenager who asks for tutoring, the young artist who struggles to finish a painting, the elderly man learning to walk again after surgery, These moments are not signs of failure. They are steps toward growth. Each act of acknowledging weakness a step toward greatness. Each struggle, each pause, each tear is a brick in the foundation of a stronger life. Weakness is also emotional. When grief overwhelms you, when loss shakes your soul, when fear paralyzes your mind, it is easy to think, I am failing. But weakness is not failure. It is proof that you are alive, that your heart feels deeply, that your spirit is capable of compassion. It is a reminder that you are human, that your journey requires patience, and that God's strength works through your weakness to bring miracles, restoration, and wisdom. The greatest examples in history, in life and in faith, were never people without weakness. They were people who fell, who stumbled, who cried, who struggled, yet continued. Moses doubted himself as a leader. David trembled before giants. Paul faced imprisonment, yet none of their weakness defined their destiny. God transformed every doubt into power, every fear into courage, every failure into a step toward a higher purpose. Weakness. SS is not a stop sign. It is a signal. It tells you to pause, to pray, to seek help, to prepare, to grow. Every time you feel inadequate, tired, or overwhelmed, it is a chance to rise, to trust God, to lean on your faith, and to prove to yourself that weakness is only temporary. Every small step forward in weakness is stronger than a giant leap in arrogance because it is powered by faith, perseverance, and divine guidance. Even the greatest victories in life are built upon moments of weakness. The writer who doubted their talent finally completes their masterpiece. The athlete who feared failure wins the championship. The parent who felt exhausted and defeated sees their child succeed. The entrepreneur who faced repeated rejections finally lands the contract that changes their life. Weaken. S is not the end. It is the womb where greatness is formed. It is the soil where miracles take root. It is the hidden strength that prepares you for the destiny God has set for you. Faith moves mountains, my friend, but sometimes we forget that the mountain is not moved by our strength, our knowledge, or our effort alone. The mountain moves because of belief, because of trust, because of a heart that refuses to be shaken. Faith is that invisible force that turns impossibilities into realities. It is not just a word we speak in prayer. It is a conviction so deep that it shapes our actions, our choices, and our destiny. You may be standing before a challenge so massive that it seems insurmountable, but faith has the power to move it. Think about the single mother whose rent is overdue, who cannot see a way to feed her children, who feels despair pressing on her chest. She steps forward with faith, sending out applications, asking for help, trusting God's provision. One phone call, one opportunity, one blessing comes her way, and the mountain of debt begins to crumble. She could not have done it alone, but her faith became the instrument of change. Faith moved that mountain when humor and strength alone would have failed. Consider the student struggling to pass a difficult exam, the one who has tried over and over and felt the weight of failure pressing down. She prays, believing that God will help her. And then she studies with renewed determination, trusting that her effort is not in vain. On the day of the test, everything aligns. She recalls the right answers. She completes T. He questions with clarity, and she passes with excellence. Faith moved the mountain of doubt and anxiety that had seemed so impossible to overcome. Even in careers, faith moves mountains. The entrepreneur who faces rejection after rejection, who sees investors turn away, who feels the weight of financial pressure, must step forward in faith. He pitches one more time, makes one more call, persists, despite discouragement, and suddenly the deal is made. The mountain of impossibility that blocked his path dissolves, not because of sheer effort alone, but because of the faith that refused to give up. In relationships, faith has the power to move mountains as well. a marriage on the verge of separation, a friendship broken by misunderstanding, a parent-child bond strained by miscommunication. Faith in love, in forgiveness, and in the power of God to restore can turn despair into hope. One act of grace, one heartfelt apology, one prayer for guidance can rebuild trust and connection. The mountain of resentment falls before faith that believes restoration is possible. Think of the person battling illness or chronic pain. Doctors may have given a prognosis that seems hopeless. Finances may be strained from treatment. Family may be worried and fearful. Yet one who believes, who prays with faith, who acts with courage, begins to see change. Sometimes it is physical healing, sometimes mental strength, sometimes emotional peace. But the mountain of despair starts to move. Faith is not passive. It is the engine that transforms obstacles into opportunities for miracles, even in the small moments. Faith moves mountains. The cashier who prays that her workday will bring peace and patience. The teacher who trusts that her students can excel despite challenges. The delivery driver who believes that traffic delays will not ruin the day. These small acts of faith ripple into results, lifting burdens, opening doors, and inspiring others. Mountains are not always literal. They are the challenges, fears, and barriers that block progress, and faith makes them move. Faith is also about persistence in unseen battles. The person praying for a lost loved one, the parent believing in a child who struggles academically, the young professional seeking employment, the person waiting for reconciliation. These mountains may seem immovable, and yet faith continues to act. Every prayer, every act of trust, every decision rooted in belief begins to chip away at what once felt impossible. The mountain does not move instantly, but faith sets the process in motion, and movement eventually comes. Sometimes mountains are internal. Fear, doubt, shame, anger, grief. A person may feel trapped in depression, weighed down by guilt, or paralyzed by anxiety. Faith moves these mountains too. One saint EP toward God, one act of courage, one decision to seek help, one moment of trust can begin the shift. It is not always instant, but with consistent faith, the internal barriers crumble. Strength, courage, and peace emerge where fear once ruled. Faith moves mountains inside and out. Even the greatest stories of history, in business, in faith, in life, show the power of faith to move mountains. Opal, who were told it was impossible, who were told they would never succeed, who faced what seemed like unsurmountable odds, became victorious because they believed. They stepped forward with trust, acted with perseverance, and refused to let doubt paralyze them. Mountains moved before their eyes, not because of luck, skill, or power, but because of unshakable faith. Faith moves mountains, and the mountain you face today may seem enormous, unmovable, impossible, but take heart. Even the smallest mustard seed of faith, the tiniest spark of trust, can create a shift that changes everything. That mountain of debt, that mountain of fear, that mountain of broken relationships, that mountain of failure, they are not permanent. They are challenges meant to reveal your strength, deepen your perseverance, and prove that God is with you. Mountains move when you believe, when you act in faith, when you trust the invisible hand of God guiding your life, and when you refuse to be defeated by what seems impossible. Every struggle you face, every tear you shed, every obstacle you overcome is not just a chapter in your life, it is a message for someone else. Your story, my friend, has power. Your journey, with all its ups and downs, inspires others in ways you may never even realize. Sometimes you may feel that your pain is meaningless, that your struggles are private, that your victories are small. But I tell you today, the story you live is a beacon of hope for someone else, a light in the darkness, a proof that life can be transformed. Consider the single mother working tirelessly to provide for her children. She may feel exhausted, invisible, and underappreciated. Yet every time she perseveres, every time she smiles through tears, every time she sacrifices for the sake of her children, she inspires other mothers who are silently struggling. They see her courage and say, if she can do it, so can I. Her story becomes a testament that resilience is possible, that love is power. And that faith can carry you through even the toughest trials. Think about the young student who failed multiple times before finally passing an important exam. She may feel embarrassed about her repeated failures, but when she shares her story with friends or younger students, her experience becomes a lifeline. She shows that failure is not the end, that persistence matters more than talent alone, and that courage in the face of setbacks is what leads to success. Her story encourages someone else not to give up, to take another step, to try one more time when everything seems hopeless. Consider the person who faced rejection after rejection in their career, who was overlooked for promotion, who doubted their abilities but refused to quit. When they finally achieve recognition or success, their journey inspires colleagues, peers, and even strangers. People see that success is not always immediate, that perseverance pays off, and that faith in oneself is a key to unlocking potential. Every story of persistence is a motivational spark for someone struggling silently behind the scenes. Even in relationships, your story carries power. Someone who forgives after betrayal, someone who rebuilds trust after heartbreak, someone who prays for reconciliation and moves forward with courage. These stories give hope to others. They show that love and faith can triumph over pain, that hearts can heal, and that forgiveness is stronger than resentment. Others see your journey and believe that their broken relationships can be restored as well. Think about those battling illness or hardship, the person enduring chemotherapy, the person walking with a disability, the person surviving trauma. They may feel alone, unseen, and hopeless. But when they share their journey, their story becomes a guiding light for countless others facing similar challenges. Their resilience becomes proof that strength is not the absence of struggle, but the courage to face it. Their story inspires others to hold on to hope and to believe that they too can overcome. Even small victories in everyday life carry inspiration. The cashier who continues to smile despite difficult customers. The teacher who goes above and beyond for struggling students. The delivery driver who persists despite exhaustion. These stories of dedication, patience, and perseverance are powerful examples for others. Someone watching quietly notices, reflects, and thinks, if they can endure, I can endure too. Your everyday choices, your quiet efforts, your acts of integrity and courage inspire far more than you realize. Sometimes your story inspires people in ways you never anticipate. The young person who shares their journey of overcoming addiction encourages someone else to seek help. The professional who speaks about overcoming financial ruin gives hope to someone drowning in debt. The parent who talks about losing a child but finding strength to carry on gives courage to those grieving. Your experiences, and the painful ones, are not wasted. They become lessons, testimonies, and motivation for others to keep going when life seems impossible. Even your mistakes inspire. When you fall, fail, or stumble and then rise again, others see that it is possible to recover. When someone confesses, I was broken, I was lost, but I refused to give up, that story gives hope to someone else who is currently broken and lost. Your life becomes proof that failure is temporary, that setbacks are temporary, and that courage and faith can lead to transformation. Your story tells others, you are not alone, there is hope, and there is a way forward. Even moments of vulnerability hold power. When you share your fears, doubts, or struggles, it creates connection. People recognize themselves in your journey and gain strength from your honesty. When you admit your struggles and show how you overcame them, your story inspires resilience, faith, and courage. Someone, somewhere, will see your journey and say, if they can endure and overcome, so can I. Your story is a ripple that spreads far beyond your imagination. One act of courage, one step of faith, one decision to share your journey can touch hundreds, thousands, even millions of lives. The testimony of your life is a tool in God's hands. Every tear, every hardship, every triumph, when shared, becomes a living sermon, a motivational message, and a source of hope for others. Your life has power. Your story matters. Your journey inspires, uplifts, and transforms. It is easy to look around and see others achieving, progressing, and succeeding, and then question your own journey. You see your friend getting promoted while you feel stuck. You see your sibling buying a house while you struggle to pay rent. You see someone's social media filled with milestones while you are still fighting just to get through the day. It is tempting to compare your journey to theirs, to feel inadequate, think you are behind. But I want to tell you today, your journey is yours alone. Do not compare your path to anyone else's. Every person has a timeline, every life has a rhythm, and every breakthrough comes at the perfect time. Consider the student who feels discouraged because their classmates are excelling in school while they struggle with grades. They see others receiving awards and praise and feel like a failure. But each student has different strengths, weaknesses, and timing. One student may excel academically but struggle emotionally. Another may struggle now but discover a talent later that will change their life completely. Comparing their journey to others only brings frustration and doubt. Walking your own path with faith and persistence allows you to grow at your own pace and achieve your purpose. Think about the young entrepreneur who starts a business and sees competitors succeeding faster. They wonder if they made a mistake, if their timing is wrong, if they are incapable. But comparing their journey to others only blinds them from the lessons in their own path. Perhaps their slower progress is teaching patience, resilience, financial wisdom, or strategy. Every step of your journey is meant to prepare you for the right opportunity at the right time. God's timing is never late, and comparing yourself to others only clouds your vision of what is truly meant for you. Even in personal life, comparison can be misleading. You see someone your age married, another with children, another traveling the world, and you feel left behind. But every life is different. Someone's joy may come now, yours may come later. Someone's wealth may appear abundant, but their heart may be struggling. Someone's career may soar quickly, but theirs may not align with purpose. Your journey is unique, shaped by God's plan for your life. Comparing it to another's is like comparing one flower to another. Each blooms in its own season, with its own beauty, with its own fragrance. Think about athletes who face the pressure of comparison. One runner may finish first in a race, while another trails behind. If the trailing runner focuses on the leader, their confidence will falter, and their performance will suffer. But if they focus on their own pace, their own strength, and their own strategy, they may achieve a personal best, even if they do not cross the finish line first. Comparing your progress to someone else's steals your power, but focusing on your path empowers you to grow, to achieve, and to fulfill your potential. Even in the workplace, employees may compare themselves to colleagues who receive praise, promotions, or recognition. One may feel undervalued or overlooked, but each person's journey has unique challenges and lessons. Perhaps the promotion is not yet yours because you are developing skills that will serve a larger purpose later. Perhaps the recognition you see others receive is temporary, but your consistency, faith, and effort will bring lasting impact. When you stop comparing your journey, you begin to focus on growth, excellence, and faith in your own purpose. Consider parents who compare themselves to others, wondering if they are old enough. One parent may see another giving expensive gifts, taking children on trips, or excelling in education. But the measure of parenting is not comparison. It is love, patience, guidance, and presence. Your children are influenced by your unique journey, your values, your sacrifices. Comparing yourself only breeds guilt, doubt, and pressure. Embrace your journey, trust your rhythm, and walk your path faithfully. Even in creativity, comparison is a thief of joy. Writers compare their work to bestsellers. Musicians compare themselves to famous artists. Painters compare themselves to masters. But your journey is unique. Your voice, your style, your experiences are your own. Comparison only invites discouragement and stifles creativity. Faith in your journey allows your talents to blossom authentically, without distraction, without imitation, and without fear. Life itself is full of examples where comparison can mislead. The farmer who sees the neighbor's field growing faster may panic, but soil quality, rainfall, and timing are different. The person seeking health may see another losing weight quickly, but bodies, genetics, and circumstances differ. The parent watching another child succeed may feel anxious, but each child grows at their own pace. Your path is uniquely yours. And comparison only blinds you from seeing the blessings, lessons, and opportunities in your own journey. When you stop comparing your journey to others, you unlock peace, focus, and clarity. You learn to celebrate small victories, to trust timing, to embrace patience, and to see growth in your own way. Your journey, no matter how slow or different, has purpose. Every step, every struggle, every victory is tailored for you, for your growth, and for your destiny. God's plan cannot be replicated, and your path cannot be duplicated. Your journey is sacred, and comparison only distracts from the beauty, the lessons, and the purpose embedded in your story. So now, my friend, hear me clearly. The journey you are on is not random. It is not meaningless, and it is not forgotten. Every tear you have shed, every struggle you have endured, every night you have whispered your prayers in silence, every moment you almost gave up, it has all been shaping you for your breakthrough. The storms you have faced are not here to destroy you, they are here to prepare you. The challenges you thought would break you are the very tools that will build you. Remember, diamonds are formed under pressure, and greatness is revealed in the moments when everything around you feels impossible. Do not despise the small victories, for even the tiniest step forward is a triumph over doubt, fear, and despair. Every effort you make, every ounce of faith you hold, every act of courage, no matter how invisible it seems, is moving you closer to the life you were created to live. The mountain that stands before you may seem insurmountable, but faith in God, faith in your purpose, faith in yourself, has the power to move it. One step, one prayer, one act of persistence, and the impossible begins to crumble. Do not measure your life by the successes of others, for comparison is a thief that steals your peace. Your journey is unique, tailored by God, timed perfectly, and designed to bring out your strengths. Do not look at what others have achieved and despair, for their path is theirs, and your path is yours. Your timing, your process, your growth, they are perfect for you. Every delay is a lesson. Every challenge is preparation, and every struggle is a seed for your bria. K through. Weakness is not failure. Pain is not defeat. Tears are not signs of surrender. Every moment you feel weak is a chance for God to show His strength through you. Every setback is a setup for a comeback, and every trial is shaping your character for the destiny you are meant to fulfill. Your story is powerful, and your testimony will inspire thousands. People are watching, even if you think. No one sees, even if you feel invisible. Your courage, persistence, and faith will touch lives and bring hope to those walking through the same darkness. Understand this truth: victory belongs to the persistent, to those who refuse to quit, to those who rise one more time when they fall, to those who continue to hope when all seems lost. Some of the greatest breakthroughs happen just after the moment we feel we cannot go on. The miracle you have been praying for is closer than you think. The answer you have been seeking is on its way. Your breakthrough may already be waiting for you, and it will arrive the moment you refuse to give up, the moment you trust in the divine timing, the moment you act in faith. So rise with courage, rise with faith, rise with the confidence that your faith is in God's hands. Do not fear the storm, for it is teaching you to sail. Do not fear the struggle, for it is molding you into a warrior. Do not fear the delay, for it is preparing you for a blessing too great to receive too soon. Walk boldly, speak your truth, love deeply, serve faithfully, and keep moving forward. Because your life is destined for victory. Your story is destined to inspire. Your miracle is destined to arrive. Remember these words: your faith can move mountains. Your perseverance can conquer valleys, your patience can unlock doors, and your courage can shine in the darkest night. Stand tall, believe, and never give up. Your life is not ordinary, it is extraordinary. You are not weak, you are powerful, you are not defeated, you are victorious. And the world is waiting to see the masterpiece that only you can create. The best is not behind you, it is ahead of you. The miracle is not gone, it is coming. The story is not over, it is unfolding. And when it does, the world will witness the glory of a life that refused to give up, a heart that refused to lose faith, and a soul that trusted God's timing. You are chosen, you are blessed, and you are unstoppable. Believe it, live it, and step into the destiny that has been waiting for you.